it'd be a shame if I had to kill you if you said anything.
I told you about killing people, dude.
I want to find out what's underneath that mask.
I'm not wearing a mask. I have fur.
Hello, Guilders, and welcome into Tales of the Riot Nexus, Episode 6, The Siren Song of Night Singer. Welcome in, everybody. I'm Timber the Wizard. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm super excited to be here. We are going to be diving right into the game, but before we do so, we have a few brief announcements that we just want to make real quick at the top of the session. So to start, the party and myself recently learned some new facts about disability, specifically about prosthetics in this case. And in response to this new information, we've decided to actively tweak certain aspects of the function and nature of Lux's prosthetic, as well as their state in the bubble in general, to be more true and respectful towards that community. And we also deeply apologize if any harm was caused by our ignorance. Absolutely. Next, we have a new show starting next week. Sigil Community College starts next Wednesday at 7 p.m. EST. Join myself as Otto Strider Reed, Reich as Love, Doki Doki Meow Meow, Domino as Raziel Raz Sealy, Mushroom Soup as Vodkatini Honey Hurricane, and Gremlins Are Us as Ophelia Tempest Camden. It's going to be a hell of a semester, and be there for the first day, and you can catch the session 0 on YouTube as well. And finally, our very dear Lance, Werewolf BF, is unfortunately unable to join us this week, but they will be returning next session. So we're going to dive right on in. You can catch up with all the fun stuff that has been going on with !Torn in the chat. You can also hit !catch up to find out what's been kind of going on in the previous episode, as well as just so you're all on the same page. Let's go ahead and introduce our cast. Galaxy, why don't you go first?
Hi, I'm Galaxy. I am my pronouns are they, them, and I am playing Kite in the Wind, and his pronouns are he, them.
Perfect. Next we have Rescue.
I'm Raichu. My pronouns are she, her. I play Lex, who is also she.
Amazing. Next we have Domino.
Hello, my name is Domino RBG. My pronouns are he, they, and I'll be playing Cal, whose pronouns are also he, they.
Perfect. All right, excellent. So when we last left our Riot Nexus, they had finished cleaning up the events of a certain satellite. The plants which they had encountered ending up leaving and heading back to where they came, or someplace new, at the help of their new electric tree friend, but not without having one remain behind, who was then dubbed Picasso and joined the crew of the Nimbus. The party then went on to have various downtime activities for the first time, trying to take advantage of that moment of respite. If we got it in there, folks. And in doing so, we're somewhat successful. Cal having several visions of various natures, attempting to understand the memory dump that had occurred when he first connected with Helm, as well as connecting with his egg and attempting to find out more about where it's leading him. Kite, while out attempting to find out more information about the correlation between catastrophic events and their family's wealth, ended up getting accosted by a bunch of small diminutive fairies in very nice fitted suits, who and while the situation looked dire, they ended up being rescued by a mysterious gunslinger woman, who covered for them as they skittered off. And then of course we had Lux, who, after doing some recon throughout the various districts of Valheaven, finding out some interesting information about onyx king krill, the specific magic material they make that is originated in respite. She also had a new an communication from her mentor and master of the Knights Accord, Yira, the new god, telling her, giving her a new mission as well as supplies to complete that mission, stashed away somewhere on the Nimbus. So yeah, I think we pick up like we pick up like that evening. You all find in like the galley of the ship, like I say it's a galley. It's really just like the hold is functioning as a number of different things. It's the galley, it's the relaxation room, it's the whole. It's a bunch of places right now. And you find in the hold a note from Lance saying it's kind of written in like a little semi-encoded, just so that way if anybody else were to find it, they wouldn't be able to understand it, but you recognize it to mean that they will be gone for maybe a few hours or so, maybe a day, and to not wait for them if something comes up, and they'll rendezvous with you when possible.
Kite finds this? Sorry, I missed somehow the first part of that. Or do all of us find that?
You all find it.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. And the first part was like it's basically a note from Lance that's encoded saying that only you three will be able to understand it, right?
Okay. Kite's a little grumpy immediately.
Cal looks over at Kite. Is this the same day that we all had our like separate outings?
Yeah.
As well. Oh, okay. So, man, everybody's looking real different right now. So he like looks at Kite. He looks over at Lux, clocks her whole thing going on, unless she has changed when she got back to the ship.
No, I'll say she has kept the map since last time, so it's off.
Okay. He looks at that, looks back at Kite, sizes Kite up, and goes, You okay, bud?
It's fine. It's fine. I'm fine.
You look a little worse for the wear there.
Your heart rate appears to be erratic.
Thank you, Helm.
Your adrenaline and hormones are also in flux. Have you been attacked?
Kite just like puts his head down on the nearest table. And he's like, yes, some pixies. I don't know. You should see the other guy.
Was it the Glitter Dust Cartel?
Why? What the hell is that? Why do you know what that is?
Cal looks at him, shrugs, and he goes, It's respite. I mean, there's all kind of ne'er-do-wells and scallywags. And also some good hardworking people.
Okay. They accused me of leaving their friend on the satellite and said I owed them money or something for that. And I ran away from them, and then someone who looked suspiciously similar to you, Cal, or at least dressed suspiciously similar, it popped out of an alleyway and shot at them with a gun, kind of like yours. And I was able to get away.
At that, he raises an eyebrow. But before he goes to comment on that, he does note that Kite is a little injured, and so he goes to like reach out to Kite, and then he pulls his hand back and he quietly goes, do I have permission to touch you?
It's like, yeah, if you're gonna heal me.
He just kind of like pats him on the back.
He's like, I feel like his chin is like full on the table. Like,
Buddy.
he's having a time. He looks like an anime character having a very bad time right now.
Yeah, so Cal's just gonna kind of like rub his back a little bit.
Were you like stomping loudly through an alleyway or something?
Why would I be stomping loudly through an alleyway?
I don't know. You have this thing where you're very your whole aura is just very loud.
Excuse me.
Wow.
I am wearing mostly black, and my fur is black. When I move into a shadow, people stop being able to see me if I close my eyes.
That's not how that works. That explains it.
What?
Your aura's not that loud.
I wasn't even in an alleyway. I was just walking down the street, being perfectly normal.
Is anybody else there?
The pixies!
Yeah, that's the problem.
What?
I think
He like looks at Cal for some kind of explanation.
Cal goes, the problem is that you were attacked unprovoked. That's the problem. You didn't do anything to earn being attacked. That would be asinine.
Yes!
He looks at Lux like, that would be asinine to say that.
Look, I'm not saying it's your fault you were attacked, but there are other things that you could have done to prevent that happening, and I'll share those with you, I guess.
Literally all I was doing was leaving the library.
Well, I'll teach you how to leave the library more inconspicuously then.
That's not...
I feel like the issue was not that I was being conspicuous. I feel like the issue was that the pixie saw me as a target for whatever reason.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously an issue too.
But, I mean, how else would they have known about the satellite if they hadn't actually had a friend there? But we didn't see anyone else.
I didn't see anybody else. I didn't sense anybody else either.
There were just... there were only robots and plants. Where's Picasso?
Probably went
in the
with
background.
Lance.
He's like,
okay.
he's like on the wall, like he skitters up the wall onto the ceiling, and he's still continuing to paint in the hold. The hold, by the way, is just like covered in paint at this point. Like every single wall of the hold has paint on it. It's all like, you feel like Picasso was really holding himself back while he was with the rest of the art talks, and now at this point he's like one wall is like all expressionism, another is just like impressionism, another is just abstractionism. You see he's like really experimenting and going through different art phases.
I love him so much.
Really talented.
Yeah, he's really good at that. I really can't even complain. Picasso, can I ask you a quick question?
He kind of like stops what he's doing and like looks over at you, his like central stalk emerging and kind of their eyes fixating on you.
At any point, did you see a pixie on that satellite at any point?
Because they can't speak, using Helm to communicate with you, they send you like the impression of like a question of what is that word.
Kite will use minor illusion and say and make like a little pixie in a suit, and show him and say, or show them and say, like one of these guys, like about this size, maybe not in a suit, maybe in a suit, maybe dressed like this, maybe not.
Oh, when you produce an illusion of the suited fairy, along Picasso's body, like down the different ridges of their tentacles. Like they're kind of like almost like this strange plant starfish, right? But their ridges along the edge are like spiked, almost kind of like like Godzilla's tail, or like that's kind of ridge like that. And as you show this image to them, their central eye stalk like bounces kind of up and down, like not excitedly, but like erratically, and like you see like these like spikes ripple down their form, down each individual like tentacle, and you get like basically hatred from Picasso. Like in fact, Picasso, like you see the central energy point on Picasso like begin to glow, and he fires a blast which goes through the illusion and into the hole, the wall behind you.
Picasso, no, I made this. This is just a picture to show you. I'm gonna take that as a yes, though. He kind of looks at Cal and Lux and says, I guess there was a pixie on that ship at some point.
Do you dismiss the illusion?
Yes.
Picasso starts celebrating like he killed the pixie.
Oh my god. Lux.
He's so cute.
Looks at Picasso and then realizes that that's something else the person that went on their ship could have seen when they were planting stuff to take down the outpost. And she just gets this like, I mean, I'd say she'd go like look like a ghost, but she kind of already does, so she, I think without saying much, she just goes and sits. I don't know, is Kite, wait, where is Kite?
Kite's sitting at a table.
Okay.
I assumed there was a table in here of some sort.
Lex is gonna go to the helm of the ship, just wordless, and just go.
I'm gonna roll an insight.
Yeah, Kite just watches her go and is like,
Kite's just like, okay.
unexpected reaction. Not sure about that one. Don't know what I did this time.
Okay, so I guess I'll just do a deception then.
Yeah, you're definitely hiding your intentions.
Yeah, 19. So.
Ooh, didn't roll good on that one.
Oh, even with the
No.
advantage, right?
Yeah, I only got a 9.
No.
She's being perfectly normal. It's fine.
She's being normal, but in that like weird way where it's like she's just already like really weird to begin with. So like,
Yeah, and she's not wearing her mask, so it's just like there's just weird vibes.
well, Cal looks at Kite and he goes, well, if Lance has something to take care of for a while, I think there's something I'd like to take care of in that meantime.
Okay. Why'd you say it like you're gonna involve me in it?
Because I kinda need help.
You want to take the ship?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want us to leave the ship for you to take it?
No, you guys can come along.
Okay.
Or do you want to stay? If you want to stay, you can stay.
Well, Lance is coming back here, right?
Yeah, but not for a couple of hours or a whole day. And honestly, I just want to take a look at this thing. It shouldn't take long. We should be back by the time Lance is done taking care of whatever Lance is taking care of.
Okay. So long as you promise we're gonna be back in time.
I will promise I will do my best.
Okay.
Cal holds out a pinky.
Kite, who does not have pinkies, it kind of like looks at it and then kind of spreads his paw so that he reveals all of his claws, and looks up at Cal like, and then moves his dew claw towards him.
Cal is just like, this was really insensitive of me. I should have thought this through better, but also this is the most adorable thing I've ever seen in my life.
Kite immediately puts his hand away.
No, wait, I'm sorry.
And he is like, no. He stands up. He's like, where are we going?
Cal just kind of like, he processes his loss. He's like, I fucked that up. That's on me. And so okay. I got a weird vision, and I want to see if what I got a vision of is actually as close to us as I think it might be. Have you ever wanted to see the... Wow, this is going to sound really morbid and weird, but... Have you ever wanted to see the corpse of a dead god?
I can't say that it's crossed my mind.
Have you never thought about just like seeing the remnants of something that was so powerful that it shaped reality itself?
Yes. I will admit that has crossed my mind.
I think there may be one nearby.
Why do you want to go to it?
He reaches into his bag and he pulls out this jet black obsidian like corkscrew shaped egg. Do you know what a Star Lancer is?
Does Kite know what a Star Lancer is? Would he know?
Go ahead and make me either a history or an arcana check.
Okay. Why?
Oh,
Just dice those. No.
13.
it's not bad.
Yeah, it's
13.
not awful.
Well, I rolled a 5. It's only a 13 because his arcana is +8.
This is a 13. So a 13, no.
I will eventually take a feat that gives me an advantage on all arcana rolls. I just gotta find one that does it.
So with a 13, I'm going to say that you have heard of Star Lancers before, but they are like a myth, basically. Like, these are ancient creatures that would have been rode on by like the Chronolorians, basically. Like, you know that these are like that's what the legends are, that they before they had jammers, that the Chronolorians would ride these things.
Okay.
But they are basically of complete myth to you. The last one that was in existence like mysteriously vanished with its keeper.
Okay. So it's kind of like telling someone that, like, Atlantis is real.
Yeah, kind of.
Right, yeah.
Okay. Kite looks at the egg and looks at Cal and is like, did someone sell you a space shark egg and tell you it was a Star Lancer egg?
Cal closes his eyes and exhales slowly, like, I'm going to forgive this transgression right now.
People used to do that all the time where I came from. They would sell these space shark eggs and they would tell people, like, oh, this is a Star Lancer egg, and, you know, kids would buy them, and then it would turn out to be a space shark.
No,
Or, like, sometimes it was a space guppy, but those eggs were harder to pass off as Star Lancer eggs.
Kite.
Uh-huh.
Trust me, this is a Starlancer egg.
He just kind of squints.
Go on, you can touch it.
Okay. He's gonna like approach it slowly. The first thing he does is sniff it because he's a cat.
That's so fair, buddy.
He is trying to determine if it smells like a space shark egg.
Make me a perception check.
Okay. I rolled a nat 1.
Oh no, buddy!
I think that Kite has never smelled a space shark egg before, so like he's just like guessing anyways, like right? Like
Okay.
so what do you think? What do you think it looks like in this moment as Kite having never smelled a space shark egg before with this nat 1? Like what do you think happens?
I think he sniffs it. And his tail kind of flicks, and he stands up, and he goes, I feel like you might have got, buddy. To repeat something back to Cal that he's probably vaguely said to Kite before.
Alright, that's number 2.
What?
And no, I didn't get got. This egg probably means more to me than my entire life.
Oh. I wish you had prefaced that before you started asking me questions.
No. I'm gonna let you have your thing. But if you know anything about the myths of Starlancers,
I do.
then you know that they don't really die, or at least it's rumored that they don't die.
Yeah, I mean, that's why people sell space shark eggs and tell people that they're Starlancer eggs.
Well, if there truly is, the corpse of an entity near respite here, then this is my best chance to bring back my best friend.
Kite is like, you didn't buy this egg, did you?
No, I didn't.
Where did you get it then?
Well, it wasn't always an egg.
Okay. He looks like he's believing you a little bit more, but he's just kind of confused now.
I'll say, Kite, make an insight check.
Okay.
And Cal, go ahead and make a persuasion or a deception roll, your choice.
9.
And don't tell us. I mean, tell me, but don't tell everybody else. Just between you and me.
I should
Don't
be
tell
able to. Hold on. Oh. Ah, dang it. Hold on. I messed up. I hacked up, you guys. Oh no.
Kite, what did you get?
A 9.
A 9.
See, this is what's wrong with me not actually like rolling real dice right now. That's all good. Yeah, okay, I'll take that. Plus, what do I have to that?
Oh, look. Shit. Sorry, my rabbit is trying to eat something.
Oh,
Go get him.
You're good.
go get Rabbit.
Wow, okay. Also a 9.
Okay.
So because Kite is the initiator of the contest, I think Kite wins this. Because meets it beats it. So Cal, what does Kite see in this moment as you're explaining like the egg to them?
I think that like as they're looking at Cal as he's explaining this egg and like the process of possibly going and in his own words like bringing his best friend back, he sees like in his eyes like maybe different like stars within the nebula of his iris just like kind of like flashing, and he has this almost like hopeful look on his face, like the look of someone who's been searching for something for a very long time and they very well may have found it.
I think also to Kite sees in that look as well, like a genuineness that is kind of absent a lot of the time as well, right?
Trying to say that Cal's not a genuine person?
No, I mean, this is something that he is genuinely hopeful about as opposed
Yes.
to...
No, 100%, like genuinely hopeful, and like you maybe also get the sense that if this does not turn out to be true, that this might break Cal.
Okay. Kite kind of stares at him for a second. And he kind of sighs. He's like rubbing the back of his head. His ears are kind of wiggling as he does it. And he says, all right. I believe you. We'll do our best, I guess, so that we can get him to where he needs to be. Them to where they need to be.
With that, Cal gets like a thoughtful expression on his face. And he goes, I'm not sure. I guess it's whatever they decide when they pop out this time.
Oh, their gender, you mean?
Their
Pronouns?
their expression, who they want to be this go around, this life.
Ike takes that in for a second and then kind of nods, says, that sounds... I mean, if
Cal's
it is
just
actually...
wild shit to Kite right now.
It really is. Kite is processing. And he kind of... After a moment, I think they say, well, if they are actually a Star Lancer, then... Yeah, I guess it's like they're getting a whole new life, isn't it?
Yep. It is, and they deserve another life. More than a lot of people.
Ike gets this kind of unusual knowing look for him. He's very naive. He's very young in a lot of ways and sheltered.
Mm-hmm.
But he seems to very well understand exactly what you mean. And he kind of nods. He says, all right, then let's take them to this rotting corpse of a god?
I don't think it's like rotting. It's probably preserved. We'll see when we get there.
Mm-hmm.
And Cal just like kind of marches off towards the helm of the ship.
All right, perfect. So we're gonna like rewind backwards in time slightly. So we cut over to Lux. Lux is leaving the hold and heading towards the helm. What does Lux do?
Lux sits in the chair reluctantly, and it's just like, Helm, you saw somebody. You know somebody was on here, right?
How are you asking this?
Out loud.
Helm responds, "What do you mean? There has been nobody that has boarded the ship other than a crew member."
So you didn't notice anybody?
No, Lux, there has been nobody that has boarded the ship other than the crew.
Do you
There-
have...
There has been a new crew member added recently, Picasso. They have been added to the ship. Are you referring to them?
No. A person. It would have been at the top. Sorry.
My sensor range is diminished near the top of the vessel. However, even then, it is unlikely that an individual would be able to get up there without me at least having some cursory knowledge. However, and Helm kind of trails off.
However, what?
There was a moment a few hours ago that my sensors registered at the edge of the field. It was minimal, not a humanoid presence or even something sentient. It was small and fast. It whizzed by the crow's nest, the place you referred to.
Are you able to visually relay what you saw? Or what that was? Maybe you didn't see anything. What happened? I don't know what your capabilities are exactly.
I may be able to visualize that in the pilot scape.
Okay.
Do you like link in?
Yeah, Lex will.
All right, awesome. As you link in, you get your awareness kind of back in this kind of like third-person sensory way, where you are seeing every portion of the ship simultaneously, and you can, which is very overwhelming. But as you kind of like zooming out, the level of detail kind of lessens to the point of being able to be understandable, and you can use your will basically to shift your perspective around and focus on different aspects. So you focus up towards the top of the crow's nest, and you see Helm say reversing playback to relevant time frame, and you see just like the time reverses over along the timeline. As this happens, it slows and then stops and then plays again. Going to make me a perception check, Lux.
Okay. All right, let's see. 15.
As you are watching, the sensors pick up. It's too fast for you to be able to see it. It's just a blur as it passes through the sensor radius. However, unmistakably, as it does so, whatever the thing is drops something, and it lands into the crow's nest.
Oh. Is that the only movement I can see?
Correct.
Okay. Is there any way for me to slow it down?
Helm will say, "Unfortunately, I am moving the sensors at as slow as possible. Whatever the thing was moved at great speed."
Okay, but it didn't go anywhere else, right?
That is correct. That is the only sensor reading that my sensors have picked up out of the ordinary.
Okay, and when none of us are on the ship, then you're not doing anything, right? You're just like sitting there quiet?
Yes, I am just sitting here quiet. Lux, make an insight check. Six?
No!
With a 6, I think Helm's like, man, Helm's like a little snippy today. Helm's being a little snippy right now.
What's with the attitude?
I am more than just a vessel.
Are you saying that I don't think you are?
I do not know what you believe, but I do not wish to be thought of as such.
Yeah, well, join the club.
Amazing. At which point Cal walks up into the Helm's deck.
Hello, Helm.
Lex disconnects.
There's a little bit there's like an icy 1.2 seconds after you say that to Cal, and then Helm goes, "Greetings, Cal. Hello, Kite."
Everything
Hello.
right in here?
Yeah, what's this energy that's happening right now?
Lux was just determining that there has been a breach of security and that a package has been deposited aboard
I was
the crow's
about
nest.
to tell them that. You don't need to say it out loud.
Hey, whoa, hey.
It has been requested that telepathic communications do not occur.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Are you seriously fighting with Helm right now?
Cal's rolling insight.
Oh,
Sure.
Anyone,
On anything in
can you
particular?
do something for me? He's like, yo, Helm is a little heated right now. He's trying to Helm, you good? He's kind of probing into Helm and Helm's feelings. Just
I think you get the sense, especially from kind of the snippiness of his response to Lux, when you came in, she was jacked in, right? So I think that, especially with that momentary pause from both of them as you entered, you definitely get this that there was probably some words being exchanged telepathically in that moment, for sure.
Okay, so if we're gonna be a team, we have to respect each other. And I don't know what's going on between you two, but do we need to talk it out?
I have things I need to tell you at the moment, but I don't know about talking it out.
What does that mean, Lux?
That means that someone was on the ship.
Yeah, what's that about? I'd like to hear more about that.
Yes, Kite, I'm getting there.
No, I mean, yes, but, you know.
Lex just glares at Kite for a second and then just...
Kite's ears go back.
She shakes her head.
Cal shifts in a way to where he's not directly in between them, but it's almost like he's physically putting himself more between Kite and Lux.
Because of the height differences going on.
Right, it's just congratulations, now they just can't see each other. They're so short.
We're so tiny.
And Lux just bending around Cal to continue the depths there.
No, I'm not trying to whatever right now. It's just the thing is that my boss knows where I am. Knows that I'm with you. And sent someone to drop something off for me on the ship. Would not tell me how she knew or who it was. She pauses. Like she's not used to saying the words that she's about to say. It's concerning.
Sorry, I'm confused. You're concerned because your employer got into contact with you? I mean, it is a little concerning that they managed to sneak onto the ship, but they shouldn't be hostile, right? If they were just trying to give you something?
I guess you don't really know who I work for then.
I don't know
Lux,
anything.
it's hard for people to know information that you don't give them.
Well, I'm in the business of not giving people information.
I mean, Lance called you an assassin. That's about all I know. Also,
Yeah.
it kind of seemed like you did that thing that the cops showed up for. I don't remember what they were called. I called them cops, but whatever those corporate guys were.
Cops.
The prison, the Lightbringers, personal police force. Yes,
Yes. Okay. So they were cops.
were
so-
cops. In fact, yes.
They were actually cops.
Yeah. Yeah. I know the Lightbringers were the Prism. It seemed like they were looking for you. I mean, it seems like we all have someone who's looking for us. So.
Yeah. I don't really see how not telling you at this point. I think we're just are in whatever this is right now for me not to tell you. Basically, I'm kind of I guess at the moment, more freelance. Is basically what we do is we search for any individuals, corporate organizations, any death to restore it again.
You cut out for a little bit there.
Yeah.
Okay, where did I get cut off?
Just kind of intermittently. The captions were picking you up though.
Well, that's good.
Okay. I don't know what part you didn't hear.
Entities, something, death.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me try this again. Yeah, the captions had me, but Discord did not. If it ever cuts, I guess just... So, I work for an organization called...
Okay, it's cutting out.
It's a lot. Now, all I heard
Very
is I look for an
suspicious.
organization called, and then it cut.
Weird.
They don't want you saying it. It's
It's
they're
literally-
the message.
It's
Shar
literally...
is trying to censor you.
Oh my god. Let me try reconnecting and see how it works. Let me just disconnect and reconnect really quick.
Yeah.
That's so not Fergalicious of you, Discord.
How dare Discord be homophobic?
Home of the phobic.
Okay. I don't know what Discord's doing. It has... Maybe... Hold on. Let me turn off something in Discord really quick.
I was thinking it might be your sensitivity, like your mic isn't picking you up kind of deal.
Yeah.
Which is it's just weird because the captions are.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
think it's through Discord specifically. Let me do standard instead of crisp, because...
They give that a shot.
Yeah.
Wisp.
Quisp.
Okay, so she basically... I just...
You got this right.
You got it.
Let's go.
I'm gonna re-say it? Okay. So Lux, in response to that, will just be like, I work for an organization called the Knights Accord. And what we do is we find people who are abusing the cycle of life and death. And we eliminate them. Because of all the harm it has caused so many people. So the corporate control of that is definitely relevant. I took care of some conglomerate board members, and so that's what that initial thing was when you first met me, Kite.
Hmm.
I killed the Clarisol.
I mean, so did I, but yes.
We both did, yes.
I mean, honestly, who hasn't killed the Clarisol at this point?
Yeah, he just keeps coming back.
He has... You don't understand just how many resurrections he has.
I probably do not. You're right. Okay, so that makes sense. I don't really care if you're some kind of Robin Hood, but with people who don't die when they're supposed to.
Yeah.
I think what I'm confused about is why are you so concerned about if it was just someone from the Knights Accord, does it matter?
Yes.
Why though? I don't understand why it would matter if your boss or someone just sent you more information for another mission to kill some corporate person.
I haven't been telling my boss everything about all of you.
Why would you need to tell your boss anything about any of us?
I have to tell her everything. That's what I do. I find things out. Typically I return to the headquarters of the Knights Accord, which is always moving. You can't pin it down to one location, but I haven't been able to go back for way too long. So I've been biding my time, waiting for some kind of assignment, something. And I've never lied to her before. But I have been.
So you haven't told her about all of us? What kind of things do you normally tell her about people like us?
She wanted me to... I have told her... She asked about the other bounties, because...
Wait, she asked you to look into us? Or you're just supposed to tell her?
I was already with you. I was already with you. She asked me who I was with, what I knew about all of you, and wanted me to keep an eye on you, which I felt was busy work. And...
What? I'm sorry. So your organization actively has you looking into us?
It's not a mainline thing. It's like a side project.
How do you know that?
I don't.
Yeah, so what if it's not a side project, Lux?
I don't know.
What? You're an assassin.
Mm-hmm.
What if she asks you to kill one of us?
I wouldn't do that.
Kite looks at Cal for a second and then kind of takes a couple steps back. Not necessarily from Lux specifically, but away from the two of them. Because he is realizing that these are two people he has not known for very long.
Mm-hmm.
And he feels a little bit backed into a corner. His hackles are raised. His fur is doing that kind of fluffy thing.
Oh.
And he says, Luxie, your organization is collecting information on us, whether you're giving it to them or not. That's not good.
I know.
And even if you wouldn't kill one of us, that doesn't mean that they weren't just send someone else.
I know. She actually raises her voice. I'm trying to keep that from happening. Right now, I don't think that is what she wants to do. As far as I know, neither of you have done anything against what our organization fights against.
Hal raises an eyebrow at that one.
Yeah, Kite just looks nervous. He looks significantly more nervous than he did a moment ago.
Unless you have?
Kite is shaking his head a little bit, and he's backing away, and he says, I'm gonna get off the ship for a while. I'm gonna go. And he just starts out. He is leaving the Nimbus.
As you're making your way to the door, just as you put your hand on the door handle, you hear from the opposite side a knock.
Oh, God.
Fuck.
Kite's immediate response is to mentally, to Helm, say, Helm, can you tell me who that is, or can you show me an image of them?
Indeed, it appears to be some small insect, and Hal will kind of pop up like an illusion, making it almost appear like the door is invisible. And on the opposite side, you will see a small, almost cutesy, diminutive bug figure. It's very small and adorable. It's about fist size. It's got these kind of large gossamer wings, and it's got very Disney cute, overly sized eyes, And you see it has a letter in its kind of buggy talons, and which it places down at the foot of the door. It does a little dance, and then it flies away. Bzz.
It does a little dance?
He grooves as they put the letter down.
Oh wait, it grew a size?
No, it grooves. It grooves out.
Okay. Sorry.
Thank you for the
Does a little
clarification.
buggy.
It was an
Okay.
important point. Incredible. It might be the most important point whole session right there.
It does a little buggy. Got it. Kite, once it flies away, Kite will say, Helm, can you open the door, please?
Of course. And then we'll open the door.
He's gonna pick up the letter to look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a fairly basic looking letter, just on paper or parchment or what have you. Opening up the letter, it appears to be a missive sent by the Shambling Hounds. You see in kind of scrawling text in common, it says, hello, thank you again for rescuing me. My boss, Mad Dog, wanted to meet you and give you thanks themselves. We also heard you might be having a little bit of a pixie problem. We could help with that. Question mark? Let us know. Uglos. And then there's a B that's kind of been written in somebody else's hand in front of Uglos to make it Buglos. And then he goes, P.S. You can find us at the Bleeding Briars, our headquarters and HQ.
Kite is having a moment right now. He is having a bad time. So emotionally, I mean. He is going to just take the letter, fold it up very slowly, slip it in a little hidden pocket inside of his cloak, and he is going to start walking to the Bleeding Briar.
Oh my god.
How?
So, if you're gonna start walking to the Bleeding Briar, you are parked currently in the Founder's Ward of Respite, which is a separate section of the city. So you can totally get there, but you're going to need to take a rickshaw, or you're gonna need to hire a stagecoach or something. I mean, you could theoretically float all the way over there, but it would be a long ways. It would be a long ways to float.
Okay. He is going to cast Disguise Self on himself. He's going to duck into an alley, cast Disguise Self, make himself look like... He's going to make himself look like a husky person, so it's like a dog instead of a cat. And he's wearing very kind of a plain, almost like a dogi. So it's got that cross in the front, and then kind of a belt, so it's kind of tunic-ish. with like dark pants and just some like boots. No cloak or anything. He dismisses Doldrum for now, just like kind of snaps her out so that she's not as obviously with him. And then he finds a stagecoach or something.
Sure. So Kite like moves off the nimbus, sweeping up this letter and making his way quickly to find a place with which to disguise themselves. Cal and Lux, what's your reaction as this is happening? Do you follow? What do you do?
After a moment, Cal like kind of mutters under his breath, "That's not how I saw this discussion going," and he just immediately like goes to chase after Kite.
Do you try to lose them, Kite? Or I guess this. Let's say, Cal? How are you pursuing Kite? Are you trying to do so stealthily?
I mean, no, he wouldn't be particularly stealthy about it. Like he's like in his mind, he's just trying to follow Kite and talk to him, and that's it. That being said, if he can't see him, he will try to suss him out.
Okay, so I would say then, so it sounds like you're being fairly obvious about tracking Kite.
Sure.
Okay, so in that case, Kite, you do see Cal chasing after you. Do you attempt to hide from him?
Yeah, I think
If y'all aren't sneaking from each other, then I'm not going to make you roll. I'm just going to say you follow him.
I think he is. I think he is trying to be somewhat unseen, just try to get away from the situation a little bit.
Okay, I'm going to say go ahead and roll a stealth check with advantage because you cast the disguise self while in the alleyway, right? Cal, go ahead and make a perception check.
Sure. I will do that, but Cal's also going to do perceive the unseen. Just in case he thinks in case Kite has hidden himself or something.
16.
Whew. That's a big number to beat. I got an 11.
Kite slips away from your sight, just passing through an alley. You head into it following, and you don't see a black cat on the opposite side, and they have managed to give you the slip. What's Lux doing?
Lex is not following Cal or Kite. She's just standing in the ship, alone, with, I don't know, she probably has put the collar back on Itzel by now. But she's trying to think of what her next steps need to be, and she's trying to redirect her thoughts to trying to figure out who that red strand of hair belonged to. But it's hard because she is very conflicted right now.
As you're kind of thinking about this, Helm will go, "That's very interesting that Kite didn't deign to share the letter with the rest of the crew. It was addressed to everyone."
What letter?
The letter that was just delivered with the knocking.
Oh my god. Did you see what? I guess you couldn't. I don't.
Of course, I have scans of everything that occurs on the ship, much like the crow's nest yet.
So you saw the letter? Who was it from?
Correct. It seemed to be from the Shambling Hounds, requesting a meeting at the Bleeding Briar.
What do I know about the Shambling Hounds, other than Uglos' association and the Bleeding Briar? Is that suspicious at all?
Go ahead and make me a history check. I'll say with disadvantage because you're very much from the core world.
So if Itzel can help me.
If you can justify how a dog helps you with a history check.
Yes, please describe to us how
Yeah.
Itzel helps you in this
Wow.
battle.
So Itzel looks a little cosmic. He's got like cosmic fur, okay? And so when you look at him, it has some kind of like brain stimulation thing. It activates a certain remembering part of your brain to pick up on small details when you look at him. Does that work?
You know what? I'm gonna say here. How about this? When you look at Itzel, he's like the cosmic swirlingness of his body. It's like a crystal ball, and it helps with your fortune telling, right? And in that context, right? It's just like sometimes looking into him, you see like shapes in the nebula, and it's like, oh,
Yeah, exactly. There we go. It's like, oh, wow.
perfect.
Incredible.
I love it. All right, great. Yeah, go ahead and roll that history check at normal as you stare deep into Itzel's fuzzy question mark body.
I'm putting knowledge of a past life because I'm doing it immediately after.
Okay.
So I'm rolling 1d6 to add to it. So that's a 14 instead.
14. You know very little about this gang. They seem to be a fairly new one that has popped up. They have not even come across the Knights of Cords radar.
Okay. Did I see any when I was doing my thing around respite? Did I ever pick up on like where it was located?
Oh yeah, you guys dropped Uglos off at the Bleeding Briar.
Oh, duh. Okay. All right, cool. So I know where it is. Okay, so Lux is going to just say to Helm, like, thanks for the information, and don't take it personally. Then she just leaves to go for the Bleeding Briar.
All right, awesome. Are you gonna float there yourself, or are you gonna take like a little cabbie?
What would make the most sense? Like, is it too far to walk? Like, would they lose their parking spot if they undocked?
I mean, you can take Helm. You can take the ship. You're the only person on it right now. Nobody's gonna stop you.
Okay, then in that case, she's not gonna leave. I think she's gonna start to leave, and then just be like, okay, here we go again. And then she's gonna go sit down at the pilot seat and link into Helm again.
Go ahead and make me a charisma save as you do so.
Okay. Oh, 20.
You feel
Dirty.
the dirty 20. You feel as you. I mean, you got a 19 on the die. That's pretty high. You feel as you plug yourself in back into Helm, like it's a little bit different this time than the previous few times. Like this is a pretty new experience for you, but it's like a little sharper almost. Like the detail is like a little bit finer, and the input is like greater, I guess. Like if you're feeling more of the ship, like for the first time since checking in, you feel the unseen like kind of waves of the astral sea ramming into the hull of Helm just over and over again repeatedly. And it is almost a little numbing as you are kind of inundated by this, like almost as if somebody who had never felt the waves before, like feeling the ocean for the first time suddenly, right? Like being plunged into it. It is a little overwhelming, but you're able to, like, instead of, if this metaphor, the person would fall over and capsize in the waves, you manage to stand strong and against this buffeting of the astral sea. And as you log in, Helm does not say anything as you do so.
Is this what you feel all the time?
that is a fraction of what I feel.
Are you... I mean, I didn't feel it last time. Are you choosing to share that with me?
I thought it might help. And I feel as though I could feel more, if that makes sense, but I don't know what that would feel like. He kind of trails off with that strange piece of circular logic.
She takes a deep breath, even though she doesn't even need to breathe, but it's just habit at this point. And she says, I know. I think we are more... She like fumbles with her words, which is just very unlike her, honestly, but it's happening. We're much more alike. And it makes me... I can't even describe it. It throws me off.
I have noticed similarities as well, and I too find it disconcerting. But I believe that there is much data that can be learned from you.
Yeah. If I share something with you, will you not tell the others?
Would you like to enter into a confidentiality agreement? And a prompt appears.
Yes.
Bing!
I want to link my memories with you.
Is there something preventing you from doing so?
No. I mean, this is me saying, okay, like you can.
You would like to allow memory access? And another prompt appears.
Yes.
It ding, signs in and says memory access has been allowed. At that time when memory access will be required for ship generation and other necessary maintenance, I appreciate the ability.
And you don't share it with anybody, okay?
Of course, I do not know who I would share it with.
Okay.
Shall we head to the Bleeding Briars?
That's it. Oh, okay. So you just... Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, yes. She's flustered.
No memory transference is required at this moment.
Oh. Can you give me a heads up? Like,
There will be a warning.
that only I can hear?
A warning will be issued to all that have given memory access. It will be telepathic in nature. For confidentiality.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, let's go.
All right, awesome. And the ship starts to take off. So we cut back over to Cal. Cal, you've lost Kite in the ramshackle buildings of the Founders Ward. What do you do from here?
Let's see. Well, he's able to see the auras of all beings, invisible or hidden. And I guess he will be trying to basically sniff out an aura that would be similar to what he would register as Kite's.
Okay, awesome. I love that. I'm gonna say go ahead.
Because you can disguise yourself, but you can't disguise your aura.
It's true. I love that. Go ahead and make a perception check with advantage as you are using your Perceive the Unseen ability to aid you. Kite, what did you roll on your stealth check again? 16?
16, yes.
I think we're going to keep that 16 as the DC.
Okay.
Ooh, I got a 13 and a 12.
I think you have this like thought just like a moment too late as you activate the aura sight, and Kite has just slipped out of your radius, and you are like moving quickly trying to like get them within the 100-foot scan zone, but you're just like after like a few minutes of walking, you just get the sense that they have gone out of your sensor range.
I guess Cal would continue to search. He's got a minute on this ability.
Sure, you know what? I'll say, since you've got a minute for this, I'll say you can make one more stealth check, or one more perception check, this time just at normal, as you're kind of like frantically moving around and like knowing that your time's about to run up. You have a +4 to perception, so you need to roll 12 on a die or higher.
Two nat
Wow.
ones.
Double
1 in
that.
400 chance.
Oh no.
Wow. Wow. You're walking down an alley, Cal, and you see a similar sight that besets you. As you're walking, a few pixies in fine suits again kind of like flank from both directions, almost as if deja vu with Kite. Well, look at what we have here.
He takes a very deep breath. His eyes are closed. The pixies probably feel like a slight breeze stirring, and then it whips up as Cal does become cloaked in air. So he switches to his dang it, what's the name? Cloak of Air, right? And he just goes, I do not have time for whatever this is.
Hey, look at this guy. He's got some wind, and the other one's all chortle at that. We know that you're with that cat. We know it. Our boy over here. He saw all of you at that satellite, and your cat friend didn't pay the fine. In fact, another one of your friends messed us up. We didn't catch her name though.
That's because it is of no importance to you.
Great. So we can both agree about how much did we say before? We'll just double it, like 500 gold. You got 500 gold on you?
You're not getting shit out of me.
Ooh, this guy's got a temper too. Roll for initiative.
Let's go.
This is gonna go so poorly for them.
I'm losing it. Oh my god.
They rolled a 2 on the die for their initiative, so you're definitely going to go first.
I also rolled a 2 on the die, but because I have a +8 to initiative, I got a 10.
There we go.
So Cal, you definitely, like, these guys are clearly showboating. Like, I think they have the opinion that maybe Kite was the strong one of the group, or maybe they have a lower opinion of the group in general because of them running away.
Cal is... How many of them... So they flank him, right? Like, how many are in front of him? How many are behind him?
There are 2 in front and 2 behind. They're very small, and they were hiding behind, like, dumpsters and, like, trash cans and shit like that.
The 2 that are in front of him, are they, like, standing kind of, like, in a straight line in front of him, or...
They're kind of off to each side, so if you were to, like if you were to run between them, they would get, like, attacks of op on you.
Cal's just gonna walk past them. Like, walk right between them and just keep walking. Like, he's not going to engage with this.
All right, they pull clubs and they attempt to whack you.
They both get to roll with disadvantage.
They are flanking, so they have advantage normally, so they're going to roll normal. One of them rolls a 10 on the die, the other one crits.
That one, he can go ahead and roll that attack on himself.
Wait, what power is that?
That's Cloak of Air. Oh, no, the other one. The one that doesn't crit, he can go ahead and roll that attack on himself. When a creature you can see misses you with a melee attack, you can use your reaction to force that creature to repeat the attack roll against itself.
Oh, nice. And then he got a 19 on the die, so he definitely hits himself. The other guy crits on you with one of his shocking batons. You take 12 points of damage, 6 of it bludgeoning and 6 of it lightning as 8 of it lightning and 6 of it bludgeoning. Yeah, there we go. As it whacks into you, and then the other guy is going to take 8 points of damage as this wind sheath coating your body, deflects the mace and just bam, whacks him right back in the face, and his wings go slightly see through as this happens. It's still your turn. You've just moved through them your movement speed, and you still have a full action.
Hold on. Let's see. -8. So that's 43 there. I'm gonna roll for concentration. We still maintain concentration. Yeah, I still have an action and a bonus action, huh? The pixie that critted on him. Let's hold on, I know I have an action here. Where are you? God damn it. There we go. Yeah, the one that critted on him, let's have him take a Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
DC would be, I believe, either 15 or 16.
Got a 16 on the die.
Nice, he meets it. Target must succeed. I don't think he takes any of that damage then. Yeah,
Well-
I don't think he...
Okay, what does it look like as you attempt to mind slam?
It's more of just like a look that Cal gives him. And he probably just like feels for like a slight moment like this pressure over his body that's just like pushing him to the ground. But he resists it.
You see the pixie's like wings and clothing becomes like sucked like almost to the ground by this gravity, but the pixie is able to put his like feet underneath him and really like stabilize himself as you are attempting to slam him into the ground. All right, great. So you moved your as far as you can, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And I've taken an action.
Yep.
And I've taken a reaction.
You haven't even taken a reaction, right?
The attack on the where he made the other guy attack himself, that was a reaction.
Oh, okay. So you still have a bonus action.
Sure do. Why do I still have a bonus action? What would I like to do? Should I just shoot him?
Yes.
Hey, y'all think I should just shoot him?
Yes.
Are you biased?
Shoot
Not
him.
at all.
Sounds like you might be a little bit biased.
Shoot him.
No.
Shoot him.
Oh, never that.
So I would say I'm not sure if you can shoot right now because you used mind slam, which is an action.
I can actually.
Okay.
Using ethereal weapon. Now give me a deck save.
Okay, he's gonna give you that deck. Again, DC 16.
Yep.
So okay, so this is the next attack you make with the next attack you make with it before the end of your turn ignores the target's armor. So I think that you would probably want to use this before you make an attack roll.
Let's see, the next attack we make with it. Okay. That's not how I read it, but you got a point.
Yeah, because I think it requires an attack roll. But we can wreck on that. Would you like to do something else with your bonus action?
Honestly, can I just take a dash action with it?
With your bonus?
Just keep on moving.
I'm gonna say in this moment, I'm gonna allow that. Yeah, so you just gun it down the alleyway. Yeah, just continuing to move. We'll say you move about half your movement speed additionally. So that would be like an additional 15 feet.
Okay.
All right, great. So yeah, you move 45 feet down, getting whacked once by the stun baton. As the pixies alight and follow after you, they do not double move in order to keep up with you, but they have 40 feet of movement, so they're about 5 feet out from you. So they just like take pot shots at you, drawing weapons. Now, are all of these going to be at disadvantage?
Yeah, as long as I have Cloak of Air up, all attacks are at disadvantage.
Okay, that's 2 6s on the die. It's only a 12. That's 17.
That'll hit.
And that's another 6 on the die. Okay, so the 17 is going to hit as a bolt of energy lances into you. You're going to take 12 points of damage as this like bolt just hits you square in the back, like scorching you. It feels like being hit by a red hot glitter cannon.
Glitter cannon.
I hate these guys so much.
It feels sparkly. But that's their turn. It's going to make it your turn once more, Cal. So you are 5 feet out from them. Currently, they will not get attacks of opportunity against you if you continue to run.
Okay. It's cool. Lost concentration on that. Cal pauses. And like you can see his hand like go for his holster. And he really does think about pulling his weapon, and he thinks in this moment about how easy it would be to actually just lay waste to all 4 of these guys. Like thoughts running through his head about how these 4 pixies are so insignificant on a cosmic scale that he could snuff out the lights of their lives right now, and there wouldn't even be a corporation that cared enough to try to revivify them or resurrect them to take advantage of them. And then he continues to walk away.
Awesome. Yeah, they are. So you just gun it out of the alley. Do you try to like duck down or just ingratiate yourself into the crowd, just to like lose them?
He doesn't. He is actually just walking and moving like with a single-minded like doggedness at this point, just to find Kite, just to talk to Kite.
All right, awesome. Yeah, so you run out from these pixies, like darting around the corner. They lay chase. You running at your full speed do have enough movement in order to get away from them. However, you're in the Founder's Ward of Respite. So as you like duck out of the alleyway onto the street proper, the thoroughfare proper, you there are more people walking around, and as you do so, the pixies kind of make their way to the edge, the hard line of that alleyway, and stop as they see like a protector droid, like dom walk by, as they see there is security in this section of the Founder's Ward. Now, most of the time, security doesn't really care that much, but like actively committing crimes in front of them is usually a bad idea in general. So they, seeing this protector ward, you see them like kind of like put a hand, the lead one put a hand on the rest of the pixies. They flip you the bird, and then they like duck back into the alley. And with that, we are going to take our first break. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. We're going to take a 10-minute break, and then we're going to finish out the session. But thank you again. Don't forget, we have stream loots as well. You can support the cast and cause some chaos in the game with !stream loots to play all those fun cards and all that fun stuff. And thank you again, everybody, for being here. I super duper appreciate it. Yeah, we're going to be back in 10. Hey, hang on. Stick around. Hello, Guilders, and welcome back to Tales of the Riot Nexus, Episode 6. Thank you so much for your patience. I also just want to throw out there, we have the stream loots going on so that you can cause a little bit of chaos. We've also got the Discord, !Guildhouse to join that, talk about the show, talk about all kinds of fun tabletop stuff, and I'd love to have you. Yeah, so when we last left off, the party was attempting to, or after some new information had been shared to Kite, he had ran off. Kyle had ran and attempted to find him to no avail, and Lux had a bit of a heart-to-heart with the ship helm. We cut back to Cal. So, Cal, you're still looking for Kite. What's your next plan of action?
Well, he has obviously and thoroughly lost Kite. Kite is gown. So in this moment, he would most likely maybe try to navigate his way back to the ship, because maybe he could use helm to find Kite.
Yeah, absolutely. So you head on back towards the docks. You are within eyesight of the Nimbus when you see it begin to move slowly, as though it is starting to pilot out of the bay.
And he just takes off after it.
Sure. Do you you're in the astral sea right now? If you were to jump into the into one of the ship bays that's empty, you could float with your astral movement speed.
Sure.
Yeah, and doing that, no problem. Dashing up to it, you're able to get aboard the ship, no problem.
Does Lux hear this or see this?
Oh yeah, you're piloting Helm right now, so you have full sensory awareness as soon as he comes within sensor range and touches down. You can see
Cool.
Cal. If Cal has an expression on his face, you can very much see that too.
What expression is on Cal's face?
He looks despondent.
Okay. Oh. Okay, so. Well,
What?
until it comes down, she'll just keep moving the ship, I guess.
Before he even comes into the helm proper of the ship, you hear him just reach out telepathically, and he just goes, "Where are you going?"
To get Kite. He's at the Bleeding Briar. He had a... There was a letter, I guess, that knock that we heard. It was a letter Helm told me. Where do you think I was going?
He doesn't respond.
Cal?
We need to get to him. He's scared.
I know. We will. I know where he is.
And he's just going to take a seat on the deck of the ship.
Yeah, Cal, you walk out of the helm room, walk up and
He didn't even walk into the helm.
He didn't. He's just been on top of the deck the whole time.
Right. Yeah, you just plop down right where you were standing. Let's say in the middle of the deck, very Wes Anderson, as you just kind of sit down. As Lux continues to pilot, as silence fills the ship. The only sounds that you can hear are the hum of the engines, the motors of the Nimbus, as well as the occasional scuttering sound of Picasso moving about and the scritching of paintbrushes on the interior of the hold. We cut over to Kite. Kite, you have managed to secure transport to Val Heaven. You had managed to flag down a kind of a small chariot that was being pulled by a huge space guppy, and just an absolute chonkin' boy. It's kind of got very kind of Roman style chariot with these kind of large wheels being pulled by this large beast, and you see that they the rider is also a cat, but they are like a calico.
Okay. Well, Kite currently looks like a husky. So he's still got pointy ears, but he's got a dog face. And, he's got a white mask and some gray markings, little gray eyebrows. And he says to the cat, I'm hoping to get to the Bleeding Briar. Do you know where that is?
You're not one of the. You don't look like the shambling hound. I mean, you are a dog, but you don't look like. They have a little bit of a look to them, and you don't really. You don't have that look.
I am aware. I am not a shambling hound. I have been invited by the shambling hounds.
Okay. Sure, yeah, I'll take you. It'll be like 2 silver.
Sure. And he gives him the 2 silver.
Great. And she takes off. She starts pedaling. Like you kind of see that it's kind of like almost like brushing the side of the goldfish, kind of like gently. It's not like hurting it as she pedals. It's kind of just like the steering wheel is kind of like moving these kind of 2 brushes that are on either side of the goldfish to the left and the right. So like as it scrubs, the goldfish kind of moves in that direction, just kind of almost subconsciously, as it's trying to get better brushes. It's like a little slow, but like you know, I think, is this the first time that Kite has traveled this way, or has Kite traveled via like kind of this kind of mini chariot design before?
He probably has traveled via this mini chariot style, because the mountains, the billowing mountains had quite a few space guppies and had a large like space guppy stable. So I would say he's probably traveled in this sort of thing before.
That like there is like a little bit of kind of a moment as you are in the back of this stagecoach, and you are floating through the astral sea, kind of seated in this inside of it, and you're looking out the window, and there's the ambiance of like the scritching of the brushes and the kind of juddering and bumping of the carriage kind of moving in relation to this large fish. I think you're kind of dissociating in the moment, and your vision like flows back in time, and all you can think of are these memories of you riding these giant goldfish at this like kind of ranch away from civilization, with just like gorgeous purple skies in the background, grass flowing on endlessly on this massive estate. And like did Kite have like a favorite fish or something that they really liked riding, or like were especially bonded with?
I think he had a fish, yeah, that was probably named, I don't know, like Donut. I'm gonna go with Donut. But he probably had one that he was particularly bonded with. His family often wouldn't allow him, I feel like, to ride the guppies, but he was allowed to be around them a little bit. And he was able to ride in the chariots if someone else was riding the guppy.
Absolutely. And I think that like there's kind of this moment where you're kind of like thinking back, and like your eyes have kind of half glazed over. I think it's just like there's this moment of like, you have been given so much information, I just can't process this, I need to think about other times right now. And it's so, you're so immersed in this other time that you, as the cab pulls to like halt in front of this large asteroid with huge green foliage and growths growing up out of the top, kind of like almost volcano-esque, as well as down the sides of these large stone walls, you realize that you've arrived at the Bloody Briars.
Okay, quick question. How long does this journey take?
The journey it took you about 20 or so some odd minutes. So you arrive here just as the other two are setting off to get you. So they're going to be here in about 20 minutes.
Okay. I think Kite doesn't move at first. The driver probably has to tell him to go. But once he is told, he gets up and he kind of hops out and he thanks her.
Of course. I can tell you're from the Bellowing Mountains proper, aren't you? You're a core worlder.
he kind of stands there for a moment and says, Yeah, I am.
There's nothing to be ashamed about that. We can't help where we were born. And I get the sense that you're a good cat.
Oh.
A good dog.
Oh.
Dog. Good dog.
Kite kind of stares at this driver who has known him for as much as it's taken them to, like, the most interaction they've had is just business, getting in this cab and paying them. And he looks at her for a moment before he says, I don't know about that part, but I know it's not my fault that I'm from the core worlds. And he walks away from her.
He rings a little bell on her chariot, and the scrubbing noise starts up, and she motors away. As you walk up to the front door, you see that there is just a huge, absolutely, like, incredibly muscular orc. You see that he has like two kind of similar antenna to that Uglos had, but these ones are like much larger and fuzzier than Uglos had. But other than that, he is just absolutely huge and muscular. He's wearing kind of like a threadbare tank top showing off his guns, and space cargo pants, we'll say.
Okay. Kite kind of wanders up to him, and says, and holds up the letter, and says, I'm here to meet someone. Is it alright if I enter?
Like that classic, like, bodyguard thing of, like, arms crossed, scanning the crowd, and you see his eyes, which are like a dark brown in color, like very kind of like with like flecked with green. You see they look down at the letter. He scans it briefly, and he puts his head over his shoulder and he goes, "Hey, Buglos, it looks like your saviors have arrived. Ooh." And he's like, he kind of chortles to himself. Yeah, go on in. Go on in. I'm just keeping an eye out for any pixies. You gotta
pixies.
Yeah, they've been causing some issues around here, but you seem like a good dog. Although I don't remember Uglos describing a dog rescuing him.
Why does everyone keep saying that to me? It's a long story, but yeah, I'm a good dog. And he walks inside.
Like the bodyguard, he was kind of standing off to the side, like passage was like it's a pretty open area, and you see that like in this main area as you walk in, it's kind of like, as you were kind of moving into Valheaven, you would have seen this, especially when you dropped off Buglos the first time. The Bleeding Briars is a kind of large, is a much bigger asteroid than the rest of them. This is kind of like a central node of Valheaven, where lots of other smaller asteroids are kind of linked onto, as forming these kind of micro districts inside of the larger district proper. And this one is just overflowing with greenery and life on the inside of these kind of large walls, almost like if you imagine like a volcano, like that shape with this like cylinder inside of another cylinder with a hollow interior. It's kind of like that, except in the inside is this kind of large open area where there's like tons of plants growing, and then they grow up the top over the edge of the volcano edge, if the metaphor holds. And you see there are tons of just people here. They appear to be their booths set up. Some people are like hanging out. You see there's like a bar going on, and you see Buglos walk up to you, and he goes, "Oh, hey, great to see you. The rescuer themselves. I'm so happy you came so promptly too."
Kite is looking down at him and is desperately wondering why he's acting like this is normal, but he's had so much shit happen to him today that he can't even address it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, that's my bad. I keep forgetting about the disguised self.
Oh, okay. That's also okay. Don't worry, I'm not mad.
Buglos goes, hey, did you get this letter?
He's like, yes, I'm the cat.
You're a dog.
I know. Don't ask. Can you just bring me inside somewhere more private?
Oh, okay. Okay, sure. And it'll take you over to like a small kind of back room that has been set up. You see he like comes in and he enters and he says, all right, great. I was kind of hoping the rest of you would be here. But I guess, I mean, you have like a position, you're like the captain or something, right?
Yeah, sort of. I tend to drive, so.
Make you the pilot, not the captain.
We don't need to discuss that right now. Anyway, and he drops the disguise self.
There, okay. Yeah, you are the cat. Look at that. I mean, it seems kind of important. Go ahead and make me a persuasion check, Kite.
Oh, that wasn't good. A persuasion check?
Mm-hmm.
5. Total.
You know, I kind of wanted to discuss this with everybody being here. Because, you know,
Lance is out right now. I'm not entirely sure. You know, it's... He kind of pauses for a second.
This seems... Ooh, I'm sensing tension.
It's not... he rubs his head for a second.
I'm sensing a lot of tension.
Uglos?
We don't have to talk about it if he puts his like hands up, like palms forward towards you, like, hey.
Yeah. No, I didn't have anywhere else I could go to be away from the pixies. And he like pauses and thinks for a moment and collects himself. And he gets this kind of more diplomatic vibe to him. He says, sorry, we do need help with the pixies. We need to make that stop immediately if we can. The reason everyone else is not with me at the moment is because they're taking care of the ship, and it's not going well, so. But they'll be back, I'm sure, at some point. For now, I would rather like to be somewhere where I could kind of remain hidden away from anyone who's going to attack me for no reason.
Sure. I mean, yeah, that was definitely part of the reason why we invited you, because we heard about that little scuffle. We heard about that, and as mutual enemies of the fairies, it seemed to make sense.
Usual enemies to the fairies?
Or as mutual.
Mutual.
Well, yes, you know, they want to kick your ass for some reason.
Yeah, they said we left one of them on that satellite, but I didn't even see a fairy there, so...
What? That's crazy. No way.
Insight check.
Yeah, go ahead and make an insight check.
Is he lying to me? Where's my insight? 18.
You can tell he is definitely bullshitting you.
Oh my god. Kite's like, I can't deal with this right now. He rubs his temples for a second, then he says, Uglos, tell me the truth right now. All
right. There were some fairies I had heard that had been dispatched to the space station, but they were there. We had been told they were the first group to go, and that if we saw any of them, we should save them. But, you know, we were too busy dying ourselves, and me hiding in a cocoon.
Okay, so you guys didn't see any. Or you did, and you just didn't help them because you were dying.
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. I thought they were all dead, though.
Okay, Uglos. If I ever work with you in the future, don't withhold important information. like
well,
that.
It's gonna come up in the meeting
Meeting?
with the boss, Mad Dog.
Oh, right. I forgot this mentioned Mad Dog. And he, looks at the letter for a second. Listen, when do we have to meet with Mad Dog?
Well, I mean, the sooner the better. I was hoping later. Why?
Well, I don't know when Lance is going to be back.
What about is the issue with the other two? Is that what's happening here?
No, it's not that. They're with the ship, and I don't know where anyone is going to get back.
Make a deception check.
Damn it. This is going to go poorly for me. Oh, okay. I rolled a 19, so it's a 19.
All right. Well, I mean, it sounds like they're going to be busy for a little bit.
If you want to try and wait for at least Lance to get back, he'll probably be back first. I think.
Why don't we wait for Lance? Definitely. Okay, so we're gonna hard cut over to Cal and Lux to pull into the nearby ship bay of the Bellowing Briars, or the Bleeding Briars rather. You see that these they have in their ship port, they do have security set up. It does appear to be like all automated bioorganic weaponry. So you see plants that have been engineered to fire hard seed shells at targets and such. You see mushrooms that are active and waiting to induce poisonous spore clouds against other forms of combatants in the Astral Sea. You see all kinds of bioorganic weapon tech just kind of waiting there. As you kind of pull in, and some of that stuff begins to arm itself as you do so, as a technician floats up and says, "Oh, well, greetings. Welcome to the Bleeding Briar. Would you like to dock?"
So 2 things. One, I'm going to say that during the trip, Lux sent Itzel to Cal just to hang there with him.
Great.
And 2, I think that Lex has been kind of ruminating on maybe I have to roll insight for this, but ruminating on the fact that Cal may have thought she was stealing the ship. And that's it.
Yeah, I'll say go in and make an insight check.
Okay.
Or a wisdom saving throw, whichever you feel is more appropriate.
I mean, they're the same for me. But I guess it would be insight.
Well, it's like, do you feel? I'm saying insight because that's like you trying to dissect what they were thinking or like trying to impress upon you in the moment, versus a wisdom saving throw of like recursive negative thoughts being like, this is gonna fuck me up.
Ooh. Maybe wisdom saving then.
Okay, go and make that wisdom.
Oh.
Now you don't have Itzel with you, so you can't give yourself advantage.
Nope.
So a 7, I think that with that 7 and with like everything else going on with Kite, like walking out as you kind of trusted them in that moment, that this feeling of potential betrayal, it like strikes a chord with you in you try to like hold back, like it hurting you and cutting you deeper than you're able to, and it does so. What does that look like?
I think that I can imagine Helm could probably feel all of this. But she starts to get like flashes of images in her mind of it's more like flashes of feelings. It's like everything is blurry, but like the feelings are so strong of like being deceived, being used, being taken advantage of, being less than. And I think when it's like they get to where they're supposed to go. I think she probably brakes a little too hard.
Cal, make a dex save.
Oh no!
Another 7. I'm gonna say Itzel helps you in this moment though, so we'll take the 14. You go skittering slightly forward from this seated position, and Itzel kind of grabs the back of your duster and like keeps you from like toppling over. He's like hop, and then he like bites your coat and he's from tumbling.
Very quietly, Cal mutters under his breath, "Good boy."
He licks your face.
Cal will allow it in this moment.
I mean, you're also sitting on the ground. It's an easy target in this moment for sure.
It's an easy target. Itzel's a good boy. Itzel has nothing to do with like my personal feelings right now.
So you are sitting there on the deck, Cal, as you see the attendant float up over the edge of the ship and alight onto the deck and say, "Greetings. It looks like you're wanting to dock at the Bleeding Briars. Are you wanting a temporary pass or are you wanting a day pass? What were you thinking?"
Are they addressing Cal right now?
Yeah, they're talking to you.
He's going to stand up and he looks at them and we'll just need something temporary.
Great. A temporary pass is going to be 1 gold piece. You can stay here for up to 8 hours.
He flips them a gold piece.
It like floats very surreally through the astral sea, like perfect trajectory, right? Like there's no arc on it, and they catch it as it floats like the good 16, 17 feet over to their waiting hand. And they say, "Pleasure doing business with you." And you see they rub their forefinger and their thumb on a like intricate and beautiful flower that is affixed to their lapel. And as they do so, like a little bit of pollen kind of drops out of it onto the deck of the ship, and you see the weapons, the bioweapons surrounding the fortress power down, and you float in and dock.
With that, Cal is going to switch his focus to mastery of air, and he's just going to jump off the deck of the ship down into the docks.
Hell yeah, that means you can't take fall damage, right?
Correct.
Sweet. Yeah. So you just like what does it look like as Cal like descends and lands, like catching themselves with the wind?
He just jumps off the side of the deck, and it looks like this man is about to break both of his ankles and both of his knees very quickly and swiftly. And then there's just like a sudden gust of air that pushes up, like kind of breaks his inertia, and then just whooshes out as he lands gently on the ground.
Perfect. Yeah, and the shockwave of air in an airless environment shoots out from you, and you see it kind of like the ripple go through the astral sea. Lux, go ahead and make me a perception check.
Okay.
As you are still connected to Helm as when Cal does this.
Okay. 28. I was nat 20.
Natural 20. The shockwave that Cal puts off in this moment feels the exact same way as the waves of solar astral sea like energy that were endlessly buffeting the ship.
Is that weird?
I mean, that's for you to determine.
Is that out of the ordinary? I don't know.
Is it?
I don't know. I don't know.
Right's legitimately asking Timo a question. Timo,
I know, I'm
I
so
don't know.
like, is that like, does she know, like,
I think Lux doesn't know. I think Lux doesn't know what to make of that.
ooh.
Because this is like a new sensation that she's felt for the first time, like earlier from piloting Helm, and then to feel it again from Cal. I'm not sure if she knows what to make of that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fucking weird. That's fucking weird.
Anyway, Cal's making his way to the shambling hounds.
Yeah, absolutely. You walk in, the bodyguard. You definitely see that their antennas distinctly wiggle towards you as you walk in, but they don't. The bodyguard does not move, and you enter in.
Cal's going to look for Uglos.
Sure, absolutely. Go ahead and make me a perception check. As you do so, what is Lux doing?
I mean, Cal seems to have this handled. She calls for Itzel to come back. And I think instead of going inside, she's just gonna take a walk. Bork. She still feels really weird. So she's just gonna take a walk.
All right, great. I love it. Yeah, you start to walk around. Like, there's not so much like port on this, but as you kind of come near the edge, you see that there is like, it's kind of floating out in the astral sea, but you can also like cling onto the edge of the asteroid and kind of like climb/hike along that. You can also just kind of float in general, if you want to continue.
Yeah, I think she's gonna walk around and kind of like look at transportation options.
Sure. Yeah, as you walk around, you do see a few things that are docked in the bay. You see that there are like several like classic spelljamming vessels, like large fish, a few sailing ships akin to the Nimbus, although most of them are quite a bit larger. There aren't any like kind of smaller sloops like this. Mostly larger ships like galleons and things like that. You also see that there is parked in the bay is a large like hammerhead shark that is kind of like, it's wearing like a saddle and has like a not like a bridle per se, but it does have kind of like harnessing around its hat, its eyes and its face. And you see it is kind of like looped to a post, like it has been like almost like how a horse would be left there. And you see it's kind of like eating some just kind of like red refuse out of a trough.
Interesting. I'm also going to say that Lex has put her mask back on.
Interesting. And there are a few people that are walking to and fro, like, but mostly they appear to be like dock workers or kind of people who are like heading into their ships, like seemingly like looking for a nightcap, like after a hard day's drinking, or they are heading quickly to the Bleeding Briar, looking, most of them excited, looking for like a night on the town as they enter in. All right, great. So Lux continues to meander about. Cal.
Whoa.
Okay. Did you? Yeah.
I was gonna see if the owner was around of that. Maybe if I could tell if the owner of that hammerhead shark was around.
Yeah, go ahead and make me a perception check.
Okay. $22.
22. You look down at the trough that the shark is eating out of, and you see that the food is at least like 3/4 gone.
Oh. She's gonna try to take the shark.
Okay. What does this look like as Lux attempts to ride onto this beast?
She's going to attempt to have, I guess, Itzel sense the energy of it. And she's going to cut the line that it's like hitched to, cut that rope, and jump on the saddle. That's what she's going to try to do.
All right, I love it. You snap the lining, the rope tying the large shark, the hammerhead, to the mooring and jump onto its back. Go ahead and make me an animal handling check.
Okay. Ooh. Can Itzel help me?
I'm going to say absolutely not.
Okay. 15. Wait. Knowledge from past life. I'm adding.
Okay.
So that is a dirty 20.
Dirty 20 with knowledge from a past life. You jump onto the back of this shark, and its immediate instinct is to attempt to flip you off of it. And as you can feel its body seizing and bucking underneath you, what does it look like as Lux pulls this knowledge from a past life in order to stay on the shark? Like, what does that look like?
So she remembers suddenly, like, she feels much smaller, but she's riding a horse that felt very scary and out of control to her at the time. But she remembers hearing somebody say, like, hold the reins like this and sit like this. And so she just does exactly that to try and control the shark.
Absolutely. And there's kind of like this layering moment as, while in that memory you are smaller and in this moment you're quite larger, the proportions are kind of similar, where it's like the shark is so much larger than you are that it's kind of almost like overlapping, and you hearing this voice in your head, just like in the memory, follow along, and you pull the shark away from the moor, and the shark immediately starts to move off, and you have control over it. Itzel is on the dock and is quickly being pulled away from.
Quickly being pulled away from me?
Yeah, no, I mean, like, you're moving away, and he's on the dock. Like, he can like jump into the astral sea and try to swim after you, but he's not on the shark.
Oh! Fuck. Can she motion for him to try and get over here?
Yeah, you absolutely can do so. Like, you get the come motion, and Itzel leaps into the astral sea. He very slowly begins to meander through the astral sea, as he does not have a very high intelligence score. And you realize that the shark is probably going to outpace him pretty quickly.
Oh! Okay, she's just gonna say, go to Cal. And she's gonna leave Itzel.
Oh my gosh. Okay, go ahead and make me an animal handling check at disadvantage, as you are telling your canine companion to go find Cal. Literally disobey his primary directive.
8.
And then he just starts to chase after you down the dock. Like, you know, like when a train is moving away and you're at the station and people chase the train at the station until it gets to the edge of the pier. He follows you all the way to the edge. Move.
She's gonna say,
do you stop?
yeah. She's gonna.
Go ahead and make me an animal handling check.
Oh my god! Jesus! A 12.
At 12, the shark does not stop. At this point, the shark kind of like twists its body a little bit, and it fixes one of its like beady black eyes on you, and you look into this thing's eye, and you see something so old and so much like more ancient than you are, and you also see on its face like a can you believe this fucking guy expression. We cut over to Cal. Cal is in the bar with you. You rolled very high on that perception, 21. You see Uglos duck out of a back room and head off to a bar and order some drinks.
Al is going to he is going to what shall you do? Cal's gonna do blur of motion, which will make him invisible during any of his movement. So he's just going to make his way to that secret room that he saw Uglos dip out of.
Amazing. Uglos would have shut the door behind him as he had left.
He's going to try the door.
It's unlocked, and as you open it, you find Kite is sitting inside. Kite, the door opens, and there's nobody there.
Excuse me, Kite would have locked that door.
Oh, would he have locked it when he walked away? Okay. Then the door's locked. Kite, make me a perception check.
Oh, cocked. Perception. 16.
Kite, you hear the door handle rattle as somebody tries it.
Wand out. He is backing into a corner, and he is wand out, and he is prepping something. Hold on, let me take a quick look.
Cal, the door's locked. Go ahead and make me a perception check.
Yeah, sure. That's a 22.
You hear energy being ready behind the door as Kite prepares his spell, whatever that looks like.
Yeah, Kite is definitely preparing magnify gravity.
Cal, go ahead and make me an insight check as well, since you roll so high on that perception.
That's an 11.
You hear magic being charged up in the room. You don't know by who.
He's going to reach out to the being telepathically, and he's like, Kite?
Let me do something really quick. Kite pauses what he's doing, but he does not respond.
Kite, is that you?
Is what me?
The person on the other side of this door.
I don't know what door you're talking about.
So you just... Okay. That's fine. Listen. I know you're scared. And you may not be on the other side of this door. But I know you're in this vicinity. And maybe I don't get it. But I know that you're scared. And you're alone. And everything is a lot right now. And if you want to take time for yourself, that's fine. But I wanted to let you know that I will do everything in my power to not let any harm come to you. I don't know why you're running, and you don't have to tell me yet, or at all. But I'm not gonna let them get you. Okay?
Right? I think you I think what you hear back is just a that's real rich coming from you. Have been with her this whole time. How much did you know?
Enough. And I also told her that we needed to sit down and talk to you and Lance, because that is what's fair to you. But it's also fair for us to give Lux the chance to do the right thing.
This isn't about Lux at this point.
It's about all of us. It's not just about keeping Helm safe or you safe. It's about all of our safety. And perhaps I've given Lux more trust than I should have. But she hasn't made me regret it yet. But my trust isn't your trust, and I don't expect you to trust her the way that I do.
Hey, I don't think you understand at all. This isn't about whether or not I trust Lux. This is about whether or not we trust the Knights Accord. It doesn't matter if Lux was telling them about our information or what. It matters that they were trying to look into us.
I get that. I understand that. But at this particular point, we are on the entire bubble's radar. You and I both know that. And while it's not fortuitous to have another organization or entity or this weird cabal of hot murder ladies looking into us, what's not going to help us is what we're all doing right now, and that's completely separating from each other.
But that's easy for you to say. There's two of you right now. I don't know what connection you have to her.
It's just me right now. I left Lux at the ship. I don't know what she's doing or where she's going. But I came to find you, to talk to you. And I know that you trust Lance, and he's not here right now. But at the very least, I would like for you to be in the place that he'll be able to find you.
Lance will be able to find me. I will be able to find Lance no matter what. Lance will always be able to find me.
Yeah? Okay.
I'm not worried about that part.
I think in this moment, as you are caught in very intense conversation, Cal, you do not sense or feel the tap on your shoulder. As you are standing there invisibly, a hand touches you.
I think he would, though.
Why is that?
Because he has the alert feed.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
I'm not saying that he would be like omniscient or anything like that, but like he'd feel a presence walking up behind him.
No, definitely. I think that in the moment where, like, you've in that moment felt yourself slipping maybe a little bit, and as the finger is like about to like tap you on the shoulder, you sense like a figure behind you. You can tell it's Buglos.
He turns to face Buglos.
Buglos' hand like misses you as you pivot on the spot, and the hand just goes wide, and he kind of like stumbles slightly but catches himself. And he goes, "Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. You seem to be," and his antenna do like a thing that like they don't touch you, but they kind of brush the general area around you from foot to top, and they go, "You must be, you're the elf."
I'm sorry. Has Buglos? Can Buglos not see him?
You're turned yourself invisible, right?
He's also not moving right now.
But Buglos can see him. Yes.
Okay.
Buglos has blind sight to 5 feet.
Oh well. Either way, it doesn't matter.
You see, he was walking up to the door holding drinks, and his antennae are like moving furiously in your general direction.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Yeah, it's me, the elf.
That's great. The other one's in there. Did you have you tried the door?
It's locked.
Oh, yikes! Yeah, the cat didn't want to talk about it.
His name is Kite.
Right, Kite didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
There's no way Kite can't hear this happening.
No, you absolutely can hear this happening. It's a whispered conversation that is happening through a thin door.
Right. And Cal just goes, he's private.
You know what? That's valid. But you're like the captain, right?
Why?
Oh, because the letter that I sent. The letter? The Kite had it.
Mm-hmm. But why are you looking for the captain?
Well, because of the letter. In the letter, it was a meeting and an invitation for the crew and the captain to meet the the boss, the Mad Dog. But if you're the captain, you can represent the rest of the crew. I asked Kite, and he said yes, but then it made it pretty clear that he was the pilot. So
Kite wears a lot of hats.
So he is
like
the captain.
4 of us on the ship.
He's like, Kite wears a lot of hats. We all wear a lot of hats. There's no distinct captain. We kind of all discuss things amongst each
4
other.
co-captains. Wow, that's a. How do you know what happens? How do you make this? You know what? I'm not gonna question your flat unilateral structure. I actually think that that's very bold and innovative. I'm excited to hear how that works out for you. So great. So that means any of you can talk to Mad Dog. Awesome. Hey, Kite, buddy. Bugla's like talks to the door.
It's like, yes, Buglos.
Did you want to come? Your elf buddy is here. Did you want to come? Did you want to come meet the boss?
I am good for right now. I think we should wait.
Sorry, are you saying that to me, or are you saying that to Cal?
To you, Buglos. You're the one who asked the question.
Right. Well, yeah, you looked a little fucked up. Why don't you take like an hour? Why don't you take like a little rest, and we'll we'll go have a little rendezvous, a little parler français, and we will get back to you. And Buglos Moon walks away from the door. You want a drink? And he offers the drink that he was gonna give to Kite. He offers to you, Cal.
No, I'm fine. Thank you.
Well, for me, double fists, one in each hand. He drinks both. In the background, you see a small diminutive bug fly over to like a huge pile of letters, grab one, and just immediately fly off.
A huge pile of letters, you say?
Yeah, like scripts, scrolls, physical media.
No, I want to roll insight on this pile of letters.
Sure, go and make that insight check.
Let me switch to my aura sight real quick so I can get
Sure.
Advantage.
Absolutely. The constant gust of wind that was buffeting Cal's tresses ebbs out of the room, and he kind of settles finally.
19.
You get the sense that this is almost a response to the use of like Ioun in the system in Valheaven. This is basically like a mail post where you can throw a missive and eventually it will be got to by one of these like little bugs that, as you see, he flies in, picks up another letter off the pile and flies off.
How organized is this pile, though?
Not like super organized, but it's like a messy pile. You see, as you're watching, like a couple more people walk up and like deposit like letters into it and fly up. You do see that it is kind of in like a little bit of a glass enclosure that is like, as you kind of walk up, the glass was very clear and see-through, and like looking at it, you see that it's kind of got this like one-way chute leading into it, and then the bugs can like fly in from a different angle and grab it and fly off.
Cal reaches back out to Kite and he asks him, "Do you want to wait for Lance?"
Kite thinks for a moment. He just says, "I don't know. I didn't expect you guys to follow me."
Why? Do you?
Because I kind of made it clear that I didn't particularly want to be followed when I left.
So, what was your plan? Were you just gonna hang out here until Lance was done, then go back to the ship?
My plan was to get rid of the pixies so that I wouldn't have to deal with them again. That was as far as I had thought.
These fucking pixies.
As you send that message to Kite, Buglos walks in and you see a small kind of study. Although there is like a little bit, it seems very Spartan and clinical. Like there's not like a lot of life going on in this room. It's pretty bare bones, and you see a couple of individuals in here. One of them is seated at a desk facing you, and another is seated at a chair facing towards the desk, facing away from you. The one seated at the desk is a tall orc, but instead of having a hulking physique, much like the bodyguard at the front, they are much thinner and like a little not sallow, but like kind of like that kind of swimmer's build, you know, where they're very much like kind of leaner but still kind of strength, right?
Mm-hmm.
They are wearing kind of almost like technicians clothing, like a little bit of a mix between a lab uniform and a engineer or technician suit. But the most striking feature to you is that in addition to their regular limbs, the 2 legs, 2 arms, attached to their back through some unseen mechanism, you see these large hulking monstrosity arms. They are massive and thick and incredibly strong looking, and they are kind of like almost like arcing out from his shoulder blades seemingly, and like down and around him, and kind of just like laying there at rest as you come in, and you see him like he's working at a workstation with his primary normal hands, as the large hands are like kind of resting palms down on the ground, the fingers drumming on, like just drumming as you would if you were like thinking, right? In the room still, and the individual facing away from you see is a woman with dark hair and sharp features, wearing a cowboy hat and leather duster and jacket, in almost a similar fashion to you. And you see she's just like almost like playing with her revolver like a little bit. She's kind of like spinning it and stuff. You see that like the cylinder has kind of been like ejected from it as she's kind of like playing with it, as it's kind of in a safe mode. And Buglos enters in. Have you dropped invisibility at this point?
Yeah.
Oh, excellent. And the last thing, the only other thing that you really notice is Mad Dog wears a full mask over his head of like a snarling, angry bulldog.
Oh, so this big dude was Mad Dog.
This big dude is Mad Dog.
Cal takes in both of these sights, and his mind does go back to conversation that he had with Kite earlier, before the proverbial shit hit the fan. And he reaches back out to him again telepathically. What did that lady look like again? The one that you said saved you from the pixies?
She dressed a lot like you did.
Does she have a cowboy hat?
Did she have a cowboy hat? I don't remember you mentioning that, Timbo.
She did have a cowboy hat.
Okay. Yeah, she had a cowboy hat.
I think I see her here.
Great. Great.
Listen, you can do whatever you want, but I truly think that we should all talk and try and figure things out. And I'm I'm sorry for all this mess you're in.
I was just starting to trust you. And then he doesn't say anything else.
Cal gets an expression on his face like he's been hurt, attacked like numerous times, but there's something about that especially stings.
Ooh, I'm gonna say go ahead and make me a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. 19.
That phrase, I was just starting to trust you, it echoes and it reverberates in your brain. And like an echo, you feel the words bounce off of something in your memory, something that should be there. And you feel like there should be a response to that. Because you don't remember what it is, but it provokes something in you. You feel it spark a deep emotion that you feel in that moment of hurt, as well as the recognition of having fucked up, right?
Kite in his mind gets the sensation of someone opening their mouth to speak and then nothing.
Awesome. And all this plays out in about like 3 seconds as the telepathic communication happens. You enter into the small study, and you see the individual with the snarling bulldog face goes, "You must be welcome in. Welcome. You must be Cal. I recognize the classic red cloak. I mean, the 60 billion platinum man is quite a sight. Would you care for some tea?"
No, thank you. I appreciate the refreshment offer, though.
Of course. You have to be a good host in these times. Would you care for tea, Sunshine? The woman goes, yeah, I'll have some tea. And the man goes to start preparing it. You see he is using, like, he projects himself up off of the ground with his large, like, I would almost say gorilla-esque, but they are too big to be gorilla arms. Like, they are bigger than that. Like, they are hairy in nature. They definitely look monstrous, and they end in 6-fingered, like, clawed hands that appear to be retractable, as he very delicately, with these large extra mandibled fingers, moves about and starts to prepare the tea using it, like, both hands, basically. And he goes, "Yes, this is Sunshine Eclipse. You may have met before. Cal, I'm gonna say in this moment, go ahead and just roll me a D100, and you want high numbers in this."
Oh, of course this is what you do to me. You asked me to roll this, and you asked me to get high numbers.
Would you prefer? Do you want low numbers instead?
No. I will do whatever you wish, Timbo.
I
just need you to know that it's bad here.
I think that no matter what check I ask for, it will give me the opposite. So
exactly.
Let's see it.
It's bad over here. Okay.
Let's see. Come on. Let's see the critical 100. 67. 67's not bad. I think not only do you know Sunshine Eclipse, I think that you have worked a couple of jobs with them before. It's up to you to determine what that might have looked like.
And Sunshine Eclipse is the lady?
Correct.
You know, he says that, and Cal legitimately has the look on his face of, just like, insert gif of Gandalf here. I have no memory of this place.
Well, I'll be. Is that if that's not the fucking astral wander, the astral storm himself? It is Cal. How have you been, partner?
I'm
You don't remember me,
I
do you?
I would like to roll a history check
Sure.
to see if Cal can remember her. Come on, bud.
That is a natural one.
That's a natural one.
Holy shit! Dice are telling
And
a story.
the dice are telling a story, and Cal just looks like, you know, big astral sea, lot of cycles, a lot of bumps to the noggin too. Like it. He taps on his head. It's Swiss cheese up here.
Oh, you're still having memory problems even after all this time. All right. Well, it is good to see you. At least you seem physically well. I heard you were traveling with a new crew. I even ran into one of them. I saw them being picked on.
Kite. Yeah. He said something about that.
I mean, wouldn't you? Saved by the Sunshine Eclipse.
Yeah, fancy shooting.
You still don't remember me, do you?
How many history checks do you want me to roll, Timbo?
No, then that one is permanent. Then that one is the dice have spoken.
Cal's like, the hamster is passed out on its wheel. Like, it's no offense to you, you look unforgettable. However, just me personally, like as a person, I am just that much of a fucking shit show that for some reason I just cannot scrounge up.
She goes, "Oh, honey, I know I'm unforgettable," and she gives you a wink. Anyways, our boy here, Mad Dog, he seemed to have a little proposition. And Mad Dog will chime in, serving the tea to her, and which she'll sip, which is just steaming hot, just boiling, and she will just sip it, expressionless. And he will say, "Yes, quite right. Yeah, I did not know you two knew each other, but all the better. Maybe she can. Well, I mean, maybe that's only one way. Either way, it seems that I heard from my good friend here about your feline friends' interaction with those daring do-no-gooders, as it were. They have been quite a thorn in my side, the side of the Bleeding Briar, ironically enough, for quite some time. And while I don't anticipate an outright turf war between the shambling hounds and them is out of the question, it would be simply too much of a great loss for both sides, or for my side. We would, even with our biomancy, we would only be able to fight them to a draw. And he kind of looks off to the side a little bit as he's kind of lost in thought, thinking about this. And he goes, "No, at this point, the best we can do is learn from them. So my proposition for you is, if you were to encounter any fairies or pixies or creatures of the Fae who would do you harm, and you were to defend yourself against them, I would pay heftily for any bodies that you would want, that would be left over as a result. It is grisly work, but the fewer corpses floating around the astral sea, the fewer can be returned, and the less the Dawnsider knows about."
So you're asking me to be a headhunter?
I mean, I cannot prevent you from going out and searching for fairies with which to hunt. However, I'm simply saying, if you were to come across them and if you were to come into possession of a fairy body, I would not only pay handsomely for it, but I would extend to you the benefits of membership without needing to join fully, per se. You would be able to use the hideout. We have specific biomancy that we have available that is not normally given to non-members.
Why? So you can dissect them and do fuck all knows what with them?
I ask you this so we can survive. And he looks at you in the eyes. As I have always done, I seek to survive.
I'm going to roll insight.
Go ahead.
It's a 14.
You see the steely resolve of a man who has been fucked by the corporations to some capacity.
And Cal looks back and he meets his gaze and he says, so let me guess, now it's survival by any means. It doesn't matter anymore. You'll throw away whatever you have to just to meet that one goal.
I am a pragmatic individual, and I would prefer to do only what is necessary to survive. I take no revelry in such atrocities or gruesome details, but it is the nature of my craft. And the large-shouldered arms shrug. A kind of like a slot opens in the bulldog mouth, and he sips the tea through it, and then the slot closes.
I can't. No, I won't speak for the rest of the crew. But I will have to humbly say no. I will refuse this offer.
All right, well, that's your right. Buckless will chime in and say, don't worry, boss. They're all co-captains or some shit, so if the other ones agree, whatever. And Bulldog goes, Buglos, very rude. And Buglos says, what? And he shrugs and his antenna wiggles. And the Mad Dog goes, Buglos, outside. Buglos says, what did I do? And he walks out. Mad Dog goes, please forgive my subordinate. He is never going to make it past assistant manager at this rate. I swear to God. Anyways,
you know, a lot of people just seem to not like Buglos. What's going on here?
well, he's just like a little mouthy, you know. You saw it there, right?
Like Favre didn't like him. Like,
Oh, don't even get me started on Favre. And Sunshine, with the mention of Favre's name, rolls her eyes as well. At this point, I'm going to say, Cal, you're alert. Go ahead and make me a perception check with advantage.
I love the implications of this.
Oh, you should.
16.
16, you hear the sound of something quickly approaching.
Oh. Should I roll like an insight to see if I can figure out what it is?
You have a split second to react in this moment. If you want to choose that time frame to react with it, with trying to insight it, that's solely your call.
I do not like this. Cal is going to stand up immediately and move back from the desk.
All right, great.
And he's going, as he's like he still has like his arsons going, but once again the wind whips up around him and he activates his cloak of air.
Perfect. Yeah. As the wind whips up in the room, just as you pull away from the door, the other two look at you. Just as the noise becomes a deafening like loudness, and boom, crashing through the side wall comes Lux riding a huge hammerhead shark, which just destroys the wall completely. The hammerhead shark busts through, like throwing us everything asunder. Cal, go ahead and make me a dexterity saving throw. Lux, go ahead and make me a dex save with advantage as you are riding.
That's a 9.
Lux,
What?
make a dex save with advantage as you're riding the shark.
Okay. That's a dirty 20.
You manage to cling on to the shark as it busts through the wall. Cal, you are not so lucky. Neither is... Oh, I got to roll for Uglos, too. Neither is Mad Dog.
Fuck.
Neither is Mad Dog, but Buglos and Sunshine managed to like jump back out of the way. Actually, I'm gonna say you have advantage on that check, Cal. You Buglos and Sunshine managed to jump up out of the way as just the shark comes battering through. Debris kind of flecks you, but you manage to, like the wind whipping up, manages to avoid most of it. And the shark just busts in and like doggedly moves forward towards Sunshine and just begins to like lick her face. And with that, we are going to go ahead and call the session there.
I would like to do one thing
Sure.
before we end this session.
Sure.
Can I roll insight on this giant shark? Or, you know what? No. Cal speaks to this giant shark, and the word that comes out of his mouth, because of his size, his stature, it sounds like wind chimes on the air. But he looks at this shark and he says, "Hello? Why do you have this small person on you?"
Amazing. And with that, we're gonna hard cut.
Oh.
Why do you have a small person on you?
Why?
Upsetting spaghetti.
That was amazing.
Timbo, why? Timbo.
Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. This was a super fun game. Well, we're going to go around one last time so you can find out where to find my lovely party. Domino, why don't you start us off?
Hey, I'm Domino RBG. I've been Cal. You can find me on social media at Domino RBG on just about everything.
Amazing. Next, we have Rach.
Hey, everybody. I'm RHQ. Playing Lux, destroying everything once again. I stream on twitch.tv/RHQ and do much less damage there.
Amazing. Next, we have Galaxy.
Hi, I'm Galaxy. You can find me primarily on TikTok at GalaxyBot and YouTube at GalaxyBot. Galaxy is always spelled with an IE for me. I don't even know how else to finish this.
I think that was perfect. Amazing. Incredible. Thank you again, everybody, for being here. Thank you to all the lurkers, the followers, everybody hanging on in chat. I super duper appreciate all y'all. We are going to be alive again next in 2 weeks with the next episode of Tales of the Riot Nexus, episode 7. However, next Wednesday, this Wednesday coming up, is going to be the premiere of Sigil Community College multi-classes in session. Join myself, RightQ, Domino, Grems, and Mushroom Soup, as well as the Sesh as the game runner, as we attempt to make the grade at Sigil Community College the second best school in the entire multiverse. It's going to be a wild time, and I hope to see you there. We also just uploaded the episode 0. If you haven't had a chance to catch that, it is a really fun episode. I highly recommend you watch it. It has some wild shit going on in it. But yeah, thank you again, everybody, for being here. We're going to go ahead and send a raid on over to who is live right now. We're going to go ahead and send a raid on out, but thank you again, everybody, for being here. We will be back in 2 weeks. But until then, stay magical, y'all. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.